In 1982, that's when I got a scholarship from some American friends. They used to call them Children Heart Fund of Minneapolis. Offered me a scholarship to go and study, now to advance in cardiology. But the head of the Children Heart Fund, a lady called Marna Tontat, wrote me a letter and said, listen, if you're going to come, you must come with your wife. I said, must? Yes, you must come with your wife. I didn't understand why that time, but she told me later. The fellows who come here alone and they leave their wives at home, never go back. They get new wives and they get stuck here. I was making sure that you go back home with your wife. So anyway, we ended up going. It was a bit of a financial deal because the scholarship was mine.
So she wasn't getting a scholarship?
She wasn't a scholarship. I keep thanking her.
Was she working here at the time?
Yeah, we were classmates.
Because you were classmates?
Yeah, me, I was working in the university as a lecturer.
Yeah.
And Dr. Betty, at that time, I was actually in private practice with a group of Dr. Peter Kamau, who is my mentor in many ways. So she had already finished her pediatrics. So she had gone out and been private. She first worked at the Aga Khan, then joined Peter Kamau. At that time, I was a lecturer in the University of Nairobi. So she had to sacrifice her job to come without knowing exactly what we are going to do. So we went, and it's when there started looking for opportunities for her. In fact, she never wanted to do cardiology. She wanted to do what we call pediatric endocrinology. And there's an endocrinologist we are talking to, but she had no opening. And one day she comes and tells us, you know, it's an opening for pediatric cardiology at the University of Minnesota. Would you give it a thought? I said, let's give it a thought. So we went, and the professor there told us, you know, I have an opening, but it must be given to a foreigner by the regulation of the university. And you're looking for a foreign student. And here you are. So that's how Betty ended up.
That's how she ended up there.
Oh, yes, yes.
Amazing.
And she loved it.
Brilliant. So both of you now come back here as cardiologists.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there were very few that time. Very, very few.
And interestingly for her, she's a pediatric cardiologist. So
The only
one.
The only other one. There was a doctor assessor ahead of her. But the only other one, of course, the first female pediatric cardiology in the region. And there were a few. But what made our practice different was we had come with what I would call a wonder machine, a miracle machine, called an echocardiogram, that with ultrasound you could see the heart. And that was the first machine in Nairobi, in Kenya, in East Africa, in East and Central Africa. We were the only people who could do an echocardiogram that's done now routinely in many other places. But that time, the only two-dimensional echocardiogram was the Conyos.
Wait, how did you acquire that? Did you buy it? Was it a donation?
We couldn't afford it. It was expensive. It was maybe 4 million Kenya shillings.
At the point.
Where I worked, at the Minneapolis Heart Institute and the University of Minnesota, I must tell you, I really worked hard. No doubt. I really worked hard, and day and night I'd do calls for staff. I think I have this natural inclination to do things for people. You know, if I find you on the street, on the stairway carrying a heavy load, I will volunteer to help you. And I keep asking medical students when they come to ask me whether they want to do, whether they should do medicine. I ask them, in the last couple of years, do you remember somewhere on the road, crossing the road or going up the stairs or at the airport, you find a woman with 2 minute luggage and you have offered to help her? Some of them tell me, oh, you know, in the airport, you cannot touch somebody's luggage. So I tell you, you will never become a good doctor. If you cannot see somebody else suffering and offer to help, you're out.